Right now, it's all about knocking this fire down. Look at this. It is absolutely incredible. This is by far the biggest fire I have ever seen. Look to the left over here. You can see the water is coming down. Look how high that ladder is. They're trying so hard to put this fire out. It's been burning for 30 plus minutes, I would say. Look at all that smoke, flames everywhere. I'm counting at least 20 fire crews on here, most likely more. We've seen firefighters running in and around trying to bring this fire down. It is just incredible.
It is a loud scene here outside the courthouse downtown. Look at all of these people. These are supporters of Marissa Alexander coming from all across the country. A bus dropped some of them off from Miami. A lot of them are from right here in Jacksonville.
Marissa Alexander is just walking out of the courtroom. I want you to see her here. Marissa, how are things?
I want to take you now to a live picture. This will show you the car that he was originally in, where his mother's boyfriend left him in this car. It was found not even a mile away from the apartment complex.
An Amber Alert was just issued minutes ago for Lonzie Barton. He was last seen only wearing a diaper. He's 22 months old, has blonde hair, a small child weighing only 20 pounds.
Let's bring in now our News for Jax crime and safety analyst, Gil Smith, who's just arrived on the scene. Gil, what do you make of all this?
Yeah, it's a very frightening situation. And like you said, there's so many different areas that it could go in. Did the child get out? Did the person take the child with them? Is the child in one of the residents here on the scene?
I want to step out of the way and show you what's happening right now. We're in the Separate East Avenue area. We can see just how many investigators are here on the scene.
Search your backyards, look in your pools, look in your sheds, do everything you can to find this young man. He wants the picture to continue to be out there on the news, on social media, everything people can do to keep an eye out, because as he said, this boy's got to be somewhere. He had to have gone somewhere. They are still treating this as an abduction. They are still treating this as if the boy is alive.
At this point, we don't know how badly the students have been hurt, but we do know they were shot.
The scene is at 118th and Blanding on the west side. We don't know the school the students were traveling from, but we are told, again, the bus serves our alternative schools in Duval County, 2 in Northwest Jacksonville and 1 in Springfield. A viewer sent us photos from the scene as well. You can see right there. We know it's bus 915. See it there in the intersection of 118th and Blanding. Francesca Emmerker just got to the scene and she's joining us now live. Francesca.
Tom and Mary, this scene is very, very frantic right now. Lots of commotion with detectives still speaking to students and parents about what happened here. And in just a few minutes, we should be briefed by JSO, who has not yet confirmed that those 2 students have been shot. But again, we're hearing that 2 students have been shot by multiple sources on this school bus.
The witness who is joining us now on the phone, her name is Kristen.
I talked to one of the kids, and they said a guy just walked by and shot up the bus, and it hit the girl, the one that I seen them put in the stretcher, and apparently there was another person, but I don't know much about that one.
This is obviously a very upsetting situation for parents who are just arriving to the scene, trying to figure out what has happened on this bus and if their children are okay. I am being joined by News 4 Jax crime and safety analyst Gil Smith.
You see a lot of parents kind of over there by this other bus. That's where they are gathering, and one woman, as I was over there trying to talk to her, just in tears, saying that she is directly connected to this, and I asked her if her child is okay. She says now he is, just too distraught to speak with me.
That accident happened right here in this direction. We can see that there aren't many cars in this direction, but if we zoom in and show you where the accident happened, you can see that crews are still on the scene there.
What you're looking at now is video that was sent in by one of you, our viewers, who were traveling over the Buckman Bridge as this accident happened. There you can see the car on fire in the southbound lanes. This is what viewers and drivers were seeing as they passed by on the northbound side.
This is where they've stopped it right here, just south of US 17, excuse me. Down in the distance is where they are working this crash.
From where I'm standing, however, traffic is backed up behind me at least 3 miles. You can expect delays up to Wilson Boulevard, and it is getting worse as time goes on.
Picture after picture after picture, all obtained by News4JAX, show a violation. Several workers with Floaters Portable Sanitation offloading sewage from their trucks and porta potties through a hose into this dump station they weren't permitted to use on this downtown Jacksonville property. It's the same spot our sources' hidden cameras captured Floaters employees taking steps to offload the septic holding tank waste down that drain more than a dozen other times. The hidden camera timestamps show different trucks arriving on 7 different days over 2 weeks in July and August, some even coming before dawn. Our News4JAX investigation into complaints of deplorable conditions at the Eureka Gardens apartments is now in its 2nd week. From allegations of mold, mildew, peeling paint, shoddy repairs, and leaking air conditioning units. Our cameras found leaking units hanging off of window after window today. Residents maintain these units are contributing to the mold.
The News4JAX investigators started looking into complaints last week when tenants called our newsroom for help. Our reporters have been following the inspection, the political fallout, and talking with residents about their predicament. We begin with News4JAX investigator Lindsay Gardner, live from the Operations Command Center at the complex. Lindsay?
Tom, I have just gotten word from my sources that inspectors are still inside one unit tonight at Eureka Gardens investigating a possible natural gas leak that they found in the ground that could be spreading to one of the units. Arm in arm with Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry. It's not a position Tracy Grant pictured herself in just days ago, when this mother and grandmother were showing our cameras what she says is mold in her kitchen, her bathroom, and on her floor. Then she called us again this week when she said property management was trying to cover it up by painting over it. She watched in disbelief as 60 city officials, including code enforcement and fire marshals, went door to door on Friday.
Fire marshal's office.
They vow they will go inside every unit over 2 days to make sure they are up to code. If not, citations will be written. We were there when 2 fire marshals found 3 violations at their very first building inspection of the morning, including a faulty fire alarm, a hole in these stairs, even the smell of gas.
Now the millionaire pastor who owns the Eureka Gardens apartment complex is taking more heat for investing more than $1 million in a Christian retreat center.
News4JAX investigator Tarek Miner traveled to Memphis and learned Reverend Richard Hamlet's foundation, Global Ministries, purchased a $1.25 million satellite campus earlier this year to expand his ministry, while hundreds of his Section 8 tenants continue to live in squalor.
Hidden behind this gated entrance is what some call a pastor's paradise on 18 acres of land. News4JAX has confirmed Richard Hamlet's Global Ministries Foundation paid $1.25 million just 9 months ago for this satellite campus called the Stephen Olford Center. It's a facility the pastor says is designed to teach men and women how to preach. We took the concerns of these residents to Reverend Richard Hamlet's foundation office.
Gentlemen!
Mr. Hamlet, how are you,
Come
sir?
on into this house.
When you see some of the conditions that the people live in, how does that affect you?
It bothers me. My heart is to come and help those who are who need to be empowered, and those who are the disadvantaged. Excuse me. I mean, this is impromptu, but that's my mission, man. I want to build bridges to help those who are the least and the disadvantaged.
Channel 4, the local station. This is an Election 2015 special. Jacksonville's mayoral debate. Who will run the city of nearly 1 million people for the next 4 years? Will it be the current mayor or one of his 3 challengers, a former Republican Party leader, a member of the city council, or a local entrepreneur? Now, from the campus of Jacksonville University, your moderator, Channel 4's Kent Justice. From Channel 4, the local station, this is live coverage of the St. Augustine's 450th celebration. It's a place where roots run deep, centuries of history, part of the fabric of the community. iconic landmarks known around the world, and stories that span oceans.
To me, it's amazing what Menendez did.
4.5 centuries ago, Pedro Menendez came ashore, opening the first chapter in St. Augustine's history.
And you're looking live out from the grounds of the Mission Nombre de Dios in St. Augustine, the place where Pedro Menendez landed 450 years ago, and the place where reenactors are going to land in just about 30 minutes from right now.
Good morning, everyone. Mary Bear here with Kent Justice, and what a spectacular morning. That was just incredible, seeing the giant cross there at the Nombre de Dios. And 450 years ago, this very day, September 8th, 1565, Pedro Menendez landed on this land and declared that St. Augustine was Spain's. And St. Augustine, the Diocese of St. Augustine today, is commemorating the founding of the nation's first Catholic parish.
The Jaguars gave us more reason to believe on Thursday night.
And from behind, he's taken down. And for the second straight year, the Caymans on a sack.
It ain't always pretty, but they count. A primetime win over the Titans has the Jags in position to make a playoff push.
I've been here 3 years and I'm seeing it grow, baby. For real.
And the players can feel the momentum.
We're learning how to win.
Tonight, we talk with the quarterback as the Jags look for another victory to keep pace in the AFC South on Jaguars All Access.
This is Jaguars All Access. Celebrating everything we love about America. Family, food, freedom, and fireworks. Our 3 Oh Say Can You Sing finalists try to hit the right note, hoping to get your vote as the top voice in Jacksonville. Live from River City Brewing Company, Channel 4. The local station is proud to bring you Jacksonville Fireworks Spectacular.
Welcome to the Jacksonville Fireworks Spectacular. We are here for the next 2 hours. We're going to be bringing you the sights and sounds from all around Northeast Florida as we help you celebrate Independence Day.
When people heard we were doing this special, they would come and ask me, so does this mean you're retiring? And my answer is no, it doesn't. No, I'm not retiring. In fact, as soon as the special is over, I'll be in the newsroom getting ready to do the next newscast, happily.
We teamed up with some of the most experienced deputies at the Bradford County Sheriff's Office. They put together 3 scenarios for us, scenarios taken from real-life events that happened on the streets of Bradford County.
News4JAX's Heather Lee and Vic Michelucci invited our crime and safety analyst Gil Smith, who was an officer for nearly 3 decades, as well as local NAACP leader Reverend Larry O'Hara.
The first scenario, a domestic disturbance.
Neighbor called in, said that the neighbors are arguing.
Gil focused on the man outside, but ended up getting shot.
I know he doesn't have a weapon, then I'll go in and deal with her. Of course, I didn't have time for that.
Yeah. The woman inside also shot Larry and Heather.
And I was thinking about calling backup. I didn't get the opportunity before she shot me.
I was the only one who didn't get shot. I didn't fire either, but I'll admit I was close, especially when the man pulled a TV remote from his pocket.
Tonight, we're covering all the angles of this national story. We begin with Channel 4's Kumasi Aaron, who's joining us live from Charleston, a city in deep mourning.
There's an unfamiliar stillness here in front of Emmanuel AME Church as people came together in front of its steps. Some left flowers, others their tears.
Joy Purdy, she's covering the search in Miami. Joy.
Good morning, Bruce and Jen. As we were coming here, we got word from the Coast Guard. I spoke with them over the phone. They are having their morning meeting right now, 8 a.m., where they're going over the information that has happened overnight, going over what may have been found out at sea by the Coast Guard cutters.
The crew out here on this C-130 today said they're proud not only of their crew today with the search that they put on, but the searches of all of the Coast Guard crews and other crews that have been out searching and trying to find answers for the families of those on El Faro. At Coast Guard Air Station Clearwater, I'm Chris Parento, Channel 4, the local station.
It's the largest independent film festival in the U.S. The Seal is known across the world. Sundance 2015 was packed with celebrities, movie executives, and famous filmmakers. On the main stage, 3.5 minutes, the documentary about the fatal shooting of Jordan Davis and the 2 trials for the teen's killer, Michael Dunn. This film, in a way, has been therapeutic for them because they say they are trying to make a difference and make sure that something like this never happens again. Ron Davis and Lucy McBath invited me on their journey for the film's premiere. We flew into Park City, Utah the night before.
We are live this morning at our Take It to Heart Day at the fairgrounds, and we are packed, inviting you to take this opportunity to find out very important health screenings specifically about your heart. And I want to show you the line.
It's a Positively Jax community event that you've been waiting for. The first of our 3 days of free shredding around Jacksonville so you can securely destroy documents and protect yourself from identity theft.
You see her behind me, they have several trucks shredding all these documents, but there is so much traffic. At one point, it was backed up almost a mile onto Normandy.
Wolfson's was certainly there to help us with speech and language pathology. They were there for every feeding, helping us learn how to feed our little girl and really be able to bond with her just as you would want to do with any other child.
And we hope you're excited too when you come on by our studios at 4 Broadcast Place. This is what we're hoping you bring with you, a new unwrapped toy for a child in need. It can be for a child age 12 years old or younger. And all of these toys, we've got much more inside the building, will be going to these children when we hand them out at the Children's Christmas Party at the Prime Osborne Convention Center. That happens on December 12th.
This is a story that, in a sense, started in the 1930s. That's when 4 young men, barely friends at that point, from Fletcher and Lee high schools, started swimming. In fact, this is actual 8mm film of one of their tournaments.
I met Tiger for the first time when he and I swam in a Bowles high school meet.
But then they all spread out for college, from Gainesville to Annapolis.
I won the Southeastern Conference Championship in the 50 freestyle.
So I went swimming for the 4 years I was at Tech.
I met John for the first time when I was swimming on the Duke swimming team, and we swam at the Navy. I haven't seen these things in years.
But then you know what happened? Life. As they all joined the military and started their careers and families, swimming was left in the past. But that first began to change in the 1970s when Tiger got some news.
I had a heart bypass operation about 40 years ago, and the doctor told me I better get into a regular exercise program.
So he took back to the water and never lost touch with John Corse. They started swimming again, and along the way connected with Bill Adams and Ed Graves around 2006 or 2007. And then something very interesting began. These men who qualified for AARP benefits when Carter was president started competing. You guys hold the world record, is that right?
2 of them.
What do you think of that?
It was our 15 minutes of fame.
And they just continued winning a lot. So they weren't all 90. You've got Bill Adams, he's only 88. Then you've got John Corse and Ed Graves, they're both 90. And you've got Tiger, he's the oldest at 93. That's why they hold the world record as the only combined team of age 360 to win any sort of swimming tournament.
When TJ heard Gerald's bike had been stolen, this 4th grader put their playful rivalry aside.
I had $911 at Brent Mart. But my teacher added some more because I've been doing good and all throughout the past few days.
TJ used good behavior at Brentwood Elementary to help buy the bike that he promised his best bud. And on Wednesday afternoon, TJ's surprise was revealed.
I said thank you, and I was keep saying it because I really miss my old bike, so I told him 3 times.
And Gerald's mother even broke into tears.
You hear about adults paying it forward, but not a 10-year-old child to a 7-year-old.
Gerald is now back in action, doing wheelies and tricks with TJ.
As people say they love their friends really much, I love this one very much.
Waiting was the hardest part. For 12 tense hours, Carter and Connor's parents sat in another room as a team of 17 doctors and nurses performed a surgery never done before in Jacksonville.
It's a very risky situation. I was scared, you know.
Then, finally, good news. Surgeons told their family the boys were separated and it looked like they were going to be okay.